Hello, this is Spellbinder doing a report on something that's vital for your survival in America. This is what these criminals, foreigners, and the people here in our government who claim to be American, but they're anti-American, are allowing under abomination. Or is it abomination? Oh, man. Leaked U.S. Army document outlines plan for re-education camps in America. Political activists would be pacified to sympathize with the government. Huh. Don't you love that? Reprogramming? I thought the TV was doing that. Apparently not good and fast enough for these criminals. Paul Joseph Watson, Infowars.com, Thursday, May 3rd, 2012. A leaked U.S. document prepared for the Department of Defense contains shocking plans for political activists to be pacified by PSYOP officers into developing an appreciation for the U.S. policies while detained in prison camps and tortured in the United States. In the document is entitled FM 3-39-40 Internment and Resettlement Operations. And here's the PDF, and I'll have a link to this article, and you can download this PDF as I did and read it. It's draconian. I'm telling you, these people that are running everything are just evil to the core. And apparently they think they got to hurry up and get this over with. Was originally released on a restricted basis to the DOD in February of 2010. It's been a couple of years, but now has been leaked online. So now you're getting to see what they planned a couple of years ago for you and your families, your children. And just remember, there's monsters in these camps, pedophiles and others. The manual outlines policies for processing detainees in their internment camps both globally and inside the United States. The international agencies like the UN and the Red Cross, which isn't any better. I mean, if you want something, you want the Salvation Army only. Do not give money to these creatures. After 9/11, these creatures in the Red Cross went into the post office and demanded the donation letters, and they ripped them open right there in the post office and took the money and pocketed it and walked away. Are named as partners in addition to domestic federal agencies including the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA. You know, the Nazi camp people. That's what they are. The document makes it clear that policies apply within the U.S. territory and involve DOD support to U.S. civil authorities for domestic emergencies and for designated law enforcement and other activities including man-made disasters. That's right, they can, real or imaginary, a lot of our documents state, accidents, terrorist attacks, and incidents in the U.S. and its territories. Terrorists, I mean our government, who points the finger at us and others, yet if they looked in the mirror, it was really them. The manual states these operations may be performed as domestic civil support operations and adds that the authority to approve resettlement such operations in the U.S. territories would require a special exemption to the Posse Comitatus Act, which they basically annihilated anyways, which can be obtained via the president invoking his executive order, you know, the terrorist in charge. The document also makes reference to identifying detainees using their social security numbers, and I have a video on that. It's the mark of the beast. Believe me, government is the Antichrist. Think about it. They're anti-Christian, anti-religion. Aside from enemy combatants and other classification of detainees, the manual includes designation of civilian internees. In other words, civilians or citizens who are detained for security reasons, for protection, or because he or she committed an offense against the detaining power. You know, the socialist. You can't talk against them. They say the Constitution's dead, don't you know? Once the detainee has been processed into the internment camp, the manual explains how they will be indoctrinated with a particular focus on targeting political dissidents and expressing support for the U.S. policies. The re-education process is the responsibility of the psychological operations officer whose job it is to design PSYOP products that are designed to pacify. Like, you know, like lithium and stuff in your drinking water while you're there, fluoride. And a detainees or DCs to accept U.S. IR facility authority and regulations according to the document. The manual lists the following roles that are designated to the PSYOP team, identifies malcontents, trained agitators, and political leaders within the facility who may try to organize resistance or create disturbances. In other words, say, these people are imprisoning us, they're trying to destroy us, and you'd be taken out and reprogrammed. Develops and executes indoctrination programs to reduce or remove antagonistic attitudes. Identifies political activists. You can't talk. First Amendment's dead, according to this document. Back in 2010. Providers loudspeaker support such as administrative announcement and facility instructions when necessary. Brainwashing through constant repeat while you sleep of these loudspeakers going. Has anyone watched Red Dawn? Do you get the idea of what this is all about? Helps the military police commander control detainees and DC populations during emergencies. Plans and executes a PSYOP program that produces an understanding and appreciation of U.S. policy and actions. Remember, this is not restricted to insurgents in Iraq who are detained in prison camps. The manual makes it clear that the policies also apply within the U.S. territory under the auspices of the DHS and FEMA. Department of Homeland Security, again, evil. The document adds that resettlement operations may require large groups of civilians to be quartered temporarily, less than 6 months. That's probably all it takes to reprogram you to worship government and lick their boots, or semi-permanently, more than 6 months, if you can't be programmed and re-educated. The historical significance of states using internment camps to re-educate detainee centers around the fact that it is almost exclusively practiced by repressive and dictatorial regimes like the former Soviet Union and Stalinist regimes like modern-day North Korea. Welcome to North Korea and the USSR, or should we say the USSA. We have exhaustively documented preparedness for the mass internment of citizens inside America, but this is the first time that language concerning re-education of detainees, in particular political activists, anyone that speaks against the government, has cropped up in our research. You know, the First Amendment says you're allowed to redress the government for anything you disagree with them. Not anymore. In 2009, the National Guard posted a number of job opportunities looking for internment and resettlement specialists to work in civilian internee camps within the United States. Have you got those in your email yet? In December last year, it was also revealed that Halliburton subsidiary KBR is seeking subcontractors to staff and outfit emergency environment camps located in 5 regions of the United States. That's right, the 5 regions. They got, this is under regions, this is not under the FEMA regions. The FEMA regions are 10 regions. I'm in region 5. In 2006, KBR was contracted by Homeland Security to build detention centers designed to deal with an emergency influx of immigrants into the U.S. or rapid development of unspecified new programs that would require large numbers of people to be interned. Where are they up to? Rex 84, a very old document. It goes back to 1984. This was the first document they came out talking about doing this to the American people. Short for Readiness Exercise. 1984 was established under the pretext of mass exodus of illegal aliens crossing the Mexican-U.S. border. The same pretense used in the language of the KBR request for services. During the Iran-Contra hearings in 1987, however, it was revealed that the program was a secretive scenario and drill developed by the federal government to suspend the Constitution, declare martial law, assign military commanders to take over the state and local governments, and detain large numbers of American citizens determined by the government to be national security threats. Yes, against their power, their overlordness. under the indefinite detention provisions of the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDAA, which was signed by Barack Obama, the abomination, on New Year's Eve. American citizens can be kidnapped, detained indefinitely without trial. Read a portion of the Internment and Resettlement Operation Manual below. And here it is. This tells you exactly in the manual. But you'll be able to get a copy of this and go through it yourself and see what these monsters that they call themselves government are up to. They're really foreign agents. It's what they are, taking us over. We're no more than Indians anymore in this country. We're the same as the Indians were when the Europeans first came over here. I have to say I'm 8th Indian and 50% Sami, which is Norwegian Sami, which is a basically white Indian of the north. And I understand fully what this is talking about. The following portions of the document make it clear that the policies apply within U.S. territory as well as abroad in countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, and that domestic federal agencies are involved. Look, military police support to resettlement operations. The operation may be performed as a domestic civil support operation due to the natural man-made disasters. I mean, what they're going to do? Just wait to see what's happening. Support to civil support operations within the U.S. territories. Agencies concerned with internment and resettlement. This is I-1-40, Internal Environment of the I/R emissions. It says Department of Home Security, U.S. Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE, Federal Emergency Management Agencies. This is what you're seeing. And Paul Joseph Watson wrote this. Very good writer for InfoWars and his own site, prisonplanet.com, because we are on a prison planet with these monsters or these creatures or whatever you want to call them. They're not human. Anyone human who has they're psychopaths. Let's put it that way. Psychosociopaths. They're both. And they're just, they're evil. They're evil. All they care about is me, and nothing about you. And this is what's really happening here. Here's other similar related articles. Army posts job for internment specialist following KBR call for FEMA and camp subcontractors. China pounders closing outdated re-education labor camps. See, they've already been doing it in China. U.S. now offers a prison guard specialty securing civilian detainees. Why are internment camps being built? Private corporations building detention camps across America. Look at all the articles. You cannot deny this. This is evil, people, and you're getting hoodwinked into it by watching Dancing with Stars and stuff on TV instead of going out and doing your own research on this outside of the mainstream media, which says they can lie to you. Did you not know about a case of a guy and a girl who worked for Fox who went to check on the hormones that they were injecting in the cows and everything that cause cancer and everything to people that eat the meat and drink the milk and does other things to you? You didn't hear about that, apparently. That was about 6 years ago, I think it was. Maybe even a little longer than that. But they went out and did a report, and it was an investigative reporting, and they came to Fox and said, we want to put this up there, and they go, no, you can't do that. Because, our CEO says, no. Murdoch said, no, you can't talk about that. You got to lie to the public and wash this over that you found so people don't know the whole story. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. And guess what? They were fired. They sued, actually. I'm not really sure how that came out. I think they won the case on there. But they were told that the media is allowed to lie to you. The mainstream media. CNN, Fox, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, they're all allowed to lie to you. It's they're not there to tell you the truth. They're there to lie and tell you what they want you to hear. That is, the control freaks. Man, I think this is all I have to say. Until next time, this is Spellbinder saying, you better start doing some research, people. This is going to be one cold day in hell when this comes down, and you don't want to be in that. No, you don't want nothing to do with it. If you want to save your country, you better stand up and speak up, or forever be enslaved. That's right. We're going back to a feudalist community type government, and that's what they want. They want you to see. The bankers have bought everything. They own it all, which they believe in their warped and demented minds. They own it all because they printed up all this money and bought this stuff and had papers written up saying we own this, and they basically bought everything now. And now it's time to crash the dollar because they don't need it anymore to buy up anymore because they already own it all. This is what the scary part of this is. It's like their green thing with Al Gore and all the rest. And I just read an article lately talking about, well, we have to have more of those, big fans, wind power generators. The one up in Oregon doesn't even run because the wind blows too hard. The ones in England are burning up because the wind blows so hard it burns up the motors and they catch fire. And the one in Hawaii that Mike Rivero talks about is sitting out there rusting on the edge. And they're not even using them. It was basically something to make money for somebody's buddy, like Obama and his solar buddies, They give them a bunch of money and then it fails, and it's like, oh, well, we failed. We're just, chapter 13, and it's okay now. We made the profit. Well, this is what's happening with those. The people built these things saying they was going to, generate electricity and everything, and then it ends up they don't work. The theory behind it doesn't work. What does work is what they got out in Arizona or New Mexico. It's the giant mirror thing where they got these mirrors all around this big tower, and it has salt in it. And they heat the salt into a liquid form, which is several hundreds of degrees, and they use that to run through water lines, and they run it through past these water lines. They heat the water up to boiling, and then they're able to run turbines. That's the only solar thing I know that works for sure, and it has zero problems with it. They've been testing this for years now, and it sits out there, and it's still a test. Why haven't they done that to power California and Nevada and New Mexico now? I mean, this is the type of scams we're under. They're scamming us with things that don't work because they don't want things to work. They just want the money and want look, see, we built something. It's green, and that's what they want. Al Gore is such a criminal, along with Maurice Strong and the rest of his fraudulent buddies out there, criminals. They all should be arrested for fraud and basically destroying life on the planet. And they're gonna be, just look at some of these people. I mean, they have mansions, they got cars, they got everything that you wish you had but can't because they have it. I mean, and they don't share. They don't share at all. Oh no, they make up stories when they can. And this is what we're going under right now. Well, that's it. I'm going to have to say, be good at it, and good day. And man, sad day in America. We have gotten so poisoned by the fluoride and the water and stuff that people are just sitting back and watching the end of the world happen before their eyes and going, wow, isn't that nice? Truly, it really is. Good day.